Just to clarify, I count 10 members of the board. I don't know if I'm counting someone I shouldn't be, but
You're right, it is 10.
Okay.
You weren't counting me, were you?
No,
Oh, Raphael's here. Okay.
Okay, in that case, we will call to order. And Greg, do you need any additional time for roll call then?
I do not.
All right. Does everybody have the paperwork that needs the paperwork?
I do.
All right. Okay, and has everybody taken a look at the agenda?
I have.
Right,
Yes,
any problems, questions, concerns? Okay. Motion to approve the agenda.
Aye.
second.
Okay, so second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? All right. Let's move on to open floor. Does anybody have anything for open floor? Lisa?
I mentioned it previously in my mail. Can I have my money sometime?
Yeah, so that's something,
Whenever, it doesn't matter, but I would rather have it go to the legal fund. Otherwise I'd absorb it. But yeah,
Yeah.
nowadays I'll send it to legal.
so we owe Lisa money for stamps. I do think we made a motion to approve spending money on stamps. So I think it's cool to just have bought the stamps from Lisa. And also, we still owe Mark King money. The day I cut him the check was the day our account got seized. So that's been a useless check. I think probably later on tonight, we might need to make a motion to pay him from other available funds just so we can pay him, because Comerica's really stonewalling me. I don't know when. I'm confident we're going to get that money back. I just don't know how much longer it's going to take.
Well, if there's a problem, just table me. I don't care, just so it's
Okay.
out there. So yeah, no rush.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else?
Is this for members also?
This
This
is Scotty Bowman. I'm just listening here. I came in late because I guess I had a signal problem. Did I just hear that we lost the bank account?
We did not lose the bank account. The bank account is frozen.
When did that happen?
That's been going on.
Oh, it's been frozen since the whole thing started?
Yeah, which they've assured me it's remained frozen and in the same state it has been.
just to clarify though, Mike, it sounds like Scotty was asking if it's been frozen since the whole thing started, which would date back to January, but I believe it's only been frozen for the last couple weeks. Is that correct?
Been frozen 2 weeks on 2 weeks and a couple days.
Okay, how did that happen? What caused them to freeze it?
When the screwheads sent in their check to change the LARA filing, I went into the bank and told them that our LARA filing had been changed and that somebody would enter the bank claiming to be the president of the corporation and want to take control of the bank account. They told me that could not happen without either myself, Joe, or Angela present. And then it happened, and it did. We caught it right away. I drove to the bank and they froze the account until they could figure out what's going on. It's taken them 2 weeks to figure out what's going on. I've been into that particular branch 8 times since then.
Have you
Our
pointed
lawyer-
out when you went back that the LARA filing now has us listed? Has you listed?
I've pointed out that the LARA filing has me listed as president, that the filing with the FEC has never said anything but Angela as treasurer in this entire time. They've received letters from our lawyer. I've walked in with 23 years of banking records in boxes to make them look at it. And we're now filing with state banking regulators.
Okay, thank you.
And Nick has identified several spots where they are probably in breach of contract with us. Larry?
Yes, I just wanted to put my 5 cents, 10 cents worth, whatever it is now, to continue to push that we need to be keeping our IT director in the loop. If we're gonna pay him, we need to use him. And he isn't able to be here tonight, so I'm just advocating for him to, I know he's felt a little bit left out recently because we've been doing a lot of things without him, including setting up a new database and website and whatnot. So I wanted to remind everyone about the existence of our IT director.
I emailed him this morning just to let him know what was going on, and that, I just assumed I would have been able to give him that check by now, but that check is still worthless. So I think we are going to have to pay him out of one of the PayPal accounts or the legal defense fund or convention money or something. I don't know, but I do want to get him some money. Jamie?
I just wanted to address Larry's point. I created Mark admin accounts on the server and on the Civi database. One of the first things, he should have those credentials. So
That's good. I
okay.
just wanted to check.
Yep.
All right. Anything else? All right, I think we'll move on from open floor and just go into the approval of the previous minutes. Has everybody who needs to see the previous minutes seen the previous minutes? Okay, any problems, questions, or concerns?
I received one a spelling mistake from Andrew Hall, which I have corrected, but that was the only thing I heard back from him.
Okay, so that has been corrected already.
Yes.
All right. In that case, motion to approve the previous minutes.
Aye. Or seconded, whatever is needed.
There we
As
go. All those
amended,
in
though.
favor? What's that?
You have to say as amended, though.
Oh, as amended, per Andrew's suggestion to Greg.
Well, the version I sent you was as amended already.
That's all I need to know. Thanks.
Okay, so motion to approve the minutes that Greg sent out with the change already made.
Second, right?
Yep, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and
Point of order, I don't think the chair can make motions, but I think we're past that on this one.
yep, it's typically no, but I'm used to just the way we do it in Macomb, which is I'm the only one talking.
He runs that affiliate like a dictatorship.
And look how fast we're going. But I will yield back any further motions, which does bring us to officer reports. I guess I'll start as chair. You just heard me already go over the bank account situation. I've spent every other day possible in the lobby of that bank. It's now been investigated by someone who is referred to as the regional operations manager. This person has no publicly listed phone. They will not tell me his name. I'm only dealing with the branch manager who will not discuss any of this with me anymore. As far as I'm concerned, it happened. It wasn't at her branch that Andrew went into. but it was her branch that told me what Andrew did couldn't be done. And thus, I was there to completely close down the account, move it, make it unfindable. And they assured me, well, just he can't do that with just LARA filings. And then they told me, well, he brought in additional documentation. And then I later found out the additional documentation was just the LARA filing. I've kept my cool. I've been very polite. I waited until I got the go-ahead from Nick, our attorney, to file with state banking regulators, but now it's just the time. They will not acknowledge him. They will only allow him to communicate with them by fax, and they haven't responded to his fax or his letters. They're in breach of contract, and I think at this point, we're owed damages. I think also, once the account is recovered, it's being moved to another institution. And I think we would have to then explore making Andrew pay for the trouble that he caused us. But that is for a different time. Do know the registration for the Lansing Convention is going great. Jacob Hornberger will be attending and giving a speech at the end of business. And, we're looking to pretty much double the attendance of the little meeting in Wixom that's going on.
Mike, Mr. Chairman, do you have a number? Do you know how many people have registered so far?
We're now in the 70s. And you always get people day of. We did identify some people are having a hard time registering on the website. The two people that I knew who weren't able to register online have now been able to register online, so the problem is solved. Larry?
Just FYI, registrations are at 73 once I minus Greg Stemple's double in there.
Do you have Shelley in there also?
Yes.
Okay.
We
Then
got
that's in fact just one of me.
I was talking with Bill earlier and we had registrations coming in while we were on the phone, so.
Oh, and we have received some communication from an attorney representing the National Party. We might want to go into executive session later to discuss that perhaps, but so far we're looking good. And suddenly it seems like the National Party is no longer suing us for trademark infractions or whatever nonsense we got the letter from. That's out the window. So well, that's pretty much everything I wanted to update everybody on. Was there any questions that anybody had for me before we move on? Okay, in that case, Mary, did you have anything you want to say?
No, not at this time. And besides, I can't follow that.
Okay, and Angela's not here yet. I guess technically our secretary is absent. Are there any other reports that need to be made? I don't think so. Top of my head.
Credentials Committee.
Credentials Committee, there we go. Thank you.
And with the permission of the other credentials members present, I will just make the report. I should not assume that I am the chair. Let me.
Please do.
Here I am. Okay. We have for the Credentials Committee, we had a number of affiliates that submitted lists that include people who are probably going to attend Wixom, as well as people who are going to attend Lansing. I felt for credentialing purpose, since that was the submitted list, I put all of them on there. It makes us look like we have a lot more people than we have. The last I checked, I'm down to about I'm down to less than 20 people that I haven't been able to verify. And it looks like a good percentage of those aren't going to be in Lansing anyways, but Wixom. So that's not going to be a problem. We do have quite a few people submitted as delegates who haven't registered for packages yet, some of whom I'm pretty sure are going to be there. Looks like we're probably going to push at over under 80 delegates minimally. It might go higher in the next week. Some of those people might end up needing to be seated by 7/8 vote, especially for the areas like Calp that did not submit a list to the Lansing convention. And also there was a list submitted by Jamie for a list of, I think, 8 or 9 people from Wayne. She obviously is not the chair, so she technically cannot submit that list. However, she had a motion that she crafted that could be put before the LEC, reasoning that since the chair failed to do his duty and submit a list, and since the list was submitted the minimum of 1 week early, that we might in this body be able to have a motion, which I can't make as a non-member, and accept those delegates so that I can seat them in Wayne County rather than in some of the other delegations.
I think a motion would be in order at this point. That be,
Okay.
I will make the motion. So I submit that, whereas, yes,
You may want to just forward that text of that to that email to who is secretary?
Acting Secretary
is.
Greg.
I'm acting secretary.
To acting secretary Greg, so that he'll have that text. I thought that text was pretty close to perfect. The only thing I would do would be add April 1st to the convention information to specifically, so it would be very specific about which convention we're talking about.
All right, so I'm sending that to Greg now, and then I'll just read the motion, and I'll add the date. So whereas in section 6.4.1 through 4 of the LPM bylaws requires that affiliate members be notified, delegates be selected at affiliate convention, and affiliate chairs submit lists of delegates as required. Whereas Andrew Chatterton, chair of the Libertarian Party of Wayne County, refuses to submit a list of delegates to the 2023 regular convention in Lansing on April 1st. I motion that the convention committee or the LEC seat all eligible delegates from Wayne County at the 2023 regular convention in Lansing.
Second. Scotty, you have your hand up?
Yes, I have my hand up because I think it's exceptionally important that we be very careful about anything that goes against the bylaws. So it's a point of information, really. My point of information is everybody on the list of Wayne County delegates that Jamie Van Alstine has? Are all of those people otherwise able to register through another affiliate or have already been? I know I already have been. That's my question.
So yes, they can. But I was asked by West Michigan, specifically by Bill, to see if we could be seated as a Wayne County delegation or at convention by 7/8 so that the available seats at Wayne or in West could be allocated for other delegates if needed. So yes, there are other methods by which every delegate in Wayne can be seated, but Wayne and Kelp also, it appears, their chairs refused to seat delegates. So it's a little different. So I don't know whether this is supported by the bylaws. but that's why this is a motion.
Brian, I think you had your hand up next.
Yeah, so I guess is Jamie, are you or is somebody who provided this list for Wayne County an officer of that affiliate?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so then I mean, I would contend that this is not against our bylaws. The bylaws simply state each affiliate must submit the names, addresses, and email addresses. Doesn't say that the affiliate chair, doesn't say the vice chair, doesn't say the secretary. So I think that any officer of the affiliate can submit the list. And so I don't think this is against our bylaws.
Yeah, and I think there were more than a few people who kind of came together with this option as well. So it's had multiple sets of eyes on it, and sounds like everybody agrees with it. Hey, Greg, you got your hand up?
Jamie, point of information. I'm sorry, I'm having weird trouble with my toolbar. When was this resolution? What resolution was passed at your convention regarding delegates? Did it come to a vote, or did Andrew not allow it to come to a vote?
Andrew ruled the motion to allow delegates to be sent to the convention they wanted out of order. And then we appealed the ruling of the chair and they voted it down.
Okay.
I can assume it was ruled out of order, dilatory, and not recognized.
Well, thankfully, that kind of BS doesn't usually happen at the county affiliate meeting, because then everybody would be in on the joke. But I'm sure it was thought.
Okay, any more discussion? It has been moved and seconded, but we haven't actually heard the list. Do we need to take a look at the list, or can we screen share it, or Scotty?
One other question, I'm trying to remember if Jamie is an officer within our affiliate.
I am a member at large, Scotty.
Okay.
Okay.
I can read the names of the delegates from Wayne.
Yeah, could you do that?
We can omit Kerry Morgan. He is not going to be able to attend the convention, but it is Joe LeBlanc, Claire Anna Gelano, Greg Cresswell, Greg Smith, Kathleen Smith, Scott Bowman, Jamie Van Alstyne, and Tristan Haley.
Okay. Brian?
Yeah, okay, so I guess I'm misunderstanding then. If this list is different than the elected delegates for Wayne County, then I would be opposed to this. Were these people voted on by that affiliate to be delegates to the state convention, to a state convention?
We were not allowed to vote to be delegates at the Lansing convention. We all expressed our desire to be delegates of the Lansing convention. The chair refused.
So were you refused? Are you listed as a delegate to any convention? That's the question.
No.
Yeah.
The way Bill explained this to me, and I guess it's the way Emily Salvet explained it to him, was that there is some sort of provision for disenfranchised members. So it's not so much that we're acknowledging these as people who, were selected by their affiliate. This is some sort of rule that's specifically for affiliates that refuse to participate.
Can we see that rule? I mean, it's that when somebody just cites an unseen rule, it sounds made up, frankly.
I don't have it handy. And I don't know if it came from bylaws or Roberts or how that worked. Scotty?
My understanding is what we do have for people not represented by an affiliate, and arguably Wayne County delegates were not represented by their affiliate because their chair refused to act in a manner that allowed them to be, would be considered part of the unaffiliated group. Do we have the, is that, I know that meeting was on the 25th. Was that left open or is it permanently adjourned until the convention?
Greg?
I chaired that meeting. They're basically adjourned until the convention, and there was only 2 people from the mid-Michigan region. So it's my opinion, well, those has never totally come up, that only those 2 representatives from that region would be allowed to appoint people to their region, and that no one can be appointed to the other regions because no one from those regions will be attending.
Dave, you had your hand up next.
Yeah, just throw something out. What if as a board, we move to support this list? Probably mostly for show, and then add it as an agenda item as a convention to confirm these delegates with a 7/8 vote at the beginning of the convention to back up our support of the resolution or motion.
I second that amendment.
Does that need to be added as an amendment, or can it just be something we do? Or can we make a second motion to say that we'll do that at convention?
I'll make such a motion.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may
Yep.
speak as credentials.
Oh, yeah,
Chair.
sorry, Larry. We're next. Yeah.
We've always been allowed to make those 7/8 motions at convention. I don't think we need to make any special motion to do it. The only reason that I supported doing it ahead of time was to perhaps make our credentialing somewhat less of a struggle at the beginning of the meeting. We can always seat delegates, and if we wish to move them from, a lot of them are currently in either Oakland or West. I'm sorry, Southwest or West. And the only intention in moving them into Wayne is to open up some more slots for alternates and such to be elevated in those delegations, Southwest and Wayne. That's something we can always take care of day of.
When I heard about this, I assumed we were going to do it day of.
Yeah, that would be part of our, we could just make it part of our credentialing. I don't see that we need to vote here in this body to approve it. It just becomes part of our credentialing process because it already is part of our credentialing process.
Okay. Well, that being said, it's been moved and seconded and discussed. Scotty?
I believe, and I guess we're now discussing the reworked motion. I still think a formal endorsement by the board, given the unusual circumstances, would count, especially if people are hesitant to let in people through the 7/8. That this gives it a little more weight that, hey, these people actually were doing the process. They were going to the affiliate and their chair got in the way.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can still vote on it and then just plan on making it official day of. Craig?
I have one more point of information. This is probably for Larry. How many people did Wayne County submit in terms of delegates and alternates? So if we add these 9 people, would that end us? You're muted.
You're talking about Wayne County?
I
Right,
don't
you want-
have access to that information. Those names were submitted to Jeff and He knows my opinion of the Wixom convention, so he's not sharing information with me.
Well, I can tell you exactly because we at convention, we named 20 persons. And then we just voted via email on the last one, and not all of those were Wayne County. I don't know the number of non-Wayne County that were being seated by Wayne County, but
Is there any situation where Wayne County could exceed their delegation slot allotment?
they have submitted no delegates to this convention,
Okay,
so that would not be possible. However, if you're looking at the total list that they submitted, if they submitted 20, they only have 22 in their delegation. So yes, adding these 8 would put them over. Some of them would have to be submitted as alternates.
all right, would anyone be opposed to this being specifically, these people are going to? Oh, it does say Lansing, okay. I'm sorry, it's actually hard to take minutes and pay attention to the meeting at the same time.
and I apologize, I had to step away for just a second. Where are we on the motion? Are we going to submit this as a motion to be seated as a Wayne County delegation at convention with 7/8? Is that where we are?
Well, I think we can vote on it now, and like Larry said, if we have to day of approve anybody by 7/8, that's just part of the process. So it sounds like we don't even really need a separate motion, or I think even an amendment. I think we just know in advance, because of what our procedures are, that we're going to, make it official day of if we have to. And I think we've talked about amending it, but I haven't really heard any specific amendments to be added. Nothing's been written down.
Okay, so is that then, if we've got my original motion and a second, so we're just sitting with that, and going to vote here and then confirm at convention?
Yeah, I think we're safe to go to a vote here. If anybody would like to call the question. Scotty?
Can we hear that motion read then?
Yes, whereas section 6.4.1 through 4 of the LPM bylaws requires that affiliate members be notified, delegates be selected at affiliate convention, and affiliate chairs submit list of delegates as required. Whereas Andrew Chatterton, chair of the Libertarian Party of Wayne County, refuses to submit a list of delegates to the 2023 regular convention in Lansing on April 1st, I motion that the convention committee seat all eligible delegates from Wayne County at the 2023 regular convention in Lansing with the names that I read.
And would that still require an approval vote at the convention?
Yes.
I'll call the question.
Okay. Does that need to be seconded?
If there's no further discussion, no one needs to call the question.
Okay. Well, is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed?
Nay.
sounded like it was multiple to one, so I'll say it passes. All right. That was technically part of,
Credentials committee report.
yeah, it was part of a report. So I think that would bring us to old business, although it was almost a little bit of old business. It was a little bit of new business. We have the 2023 convention planning agenda and rules. I think Bill sent out his report to everybody. Has everybody, and we've had a few, is everybody up to date on the convention is what I'm trying to say.
Well, did you get anything apart from Bill encouraging us to get people registered? The
No.
email at 4:42 PM today.
Yeah, let me go through. Sorry, I've gotten a lot of emails. And also, Bill said if we needed to, we could call him and he could hop on to.
That would be my preference, because we do need, we need the agenda and we need the rules for convention. I mean, we are 6 days out.
The agenda and rules, at least the draft version that we worked on were in the meeting packet today.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't get that far.
That's okay. I added it above like half an hour after I uploaded it the first time. So if you downloaded it immediately, you're not going to have it. You'll need to re-download it, or the live version up there right now.
Okay, so the agenda is on page 9. And the rules start on page 10 and go through to page 11. Does everybody have that?
Yes.
Okay.
And these were all just repurposed from previous years' convention rules and agendas.
So we can stick with what works. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
My only question is, and I don't know if it's a question or a concern or both. Item 12 on the agenda, the election of judicial committee. I mean, it's only 15 minutes, but if we approve the agenda at the beginning of the day, and if the bylaws committee report gets accepted wholesale, like it's never been done before, what do you do if that's no longer necessary?
We would just bypass that part of the agenda.
Okay.
Or
Thank you.
amend it when we get there.
Okay.
Something that I should bring up, I was actually going to bring up during our reports tonight. Jim Fulner has pointed out if we really want to call this a regular convention, we should probably properly have a platform committee. He is acting as a platform committee as of one. He's going to put together something very short. Nobody has sent him any input, and I don't think he really minds. He just, I think he's going to make one suggestion for us. But I think we should at least put it on the agenda. Does anybody, should we just?
It is listed on the agenda. It's item 13,
Item 13,
platform.
platform, there we go. Okay, never mind. I hadn't told anybody that Jim was working on that, so that's my way of telling you Jim's working on it, and so that will be a full spot on the agenda then. I missed it though. Other than that, then that was the only thing I was going to bring up. Anybody else?
Mike,
we
was it
didn't
your
really-
intention to appoint Jim formally to be a platform committee chair?
I guess we would have to do that, yeah. We can do that after we adopt the rules, though.
Do we adopt the rules or does the convention adopt?
Oh,
I don't know.
I mean, we're not changing the rules, or we're not making any amendments or anything, are we? That's what I'm gathering.
Well,
We can
I
vote
guess
to,
whatever we present to the
Greg has
Um,
gone to the matrix.
yeah, you got a old fashioned Winamp remix there, but we're going to send these to the convention committee to be printed as part of the packages as is, I guess is what I'm saying. Right?
Oh, I see.
Well, are there any recommended in terms of the agenda or rules, or are there any proposed amendments to any of these?
The only thing with the agenda is it technically ends at 11:40, not noon. Do put that in brackets. So we do have a bit of wiggle room in the morning if things look like they're off to a slow or fast start.
And Scotty, I think, did you have something about the rules that you were going to suggest? You have your hand up.
Oh, no, sorry, it wasn't about the rules. It was about the
Okay.
convention agenda. Is it appropriate to ask a question about that right now?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, the question I have is, since adjournment's at 4 and there was mention of Jacob Hornberger afterward, is he reserving separate space? Or are we reserving a separate deal for him, or do we actually have the room much longer than that?
We have the room probably technically until 5 or a little bit longer. So if we do adjourn at 4, he can basically, will be out of, convention will be adjourned, but he will still have a microphone that he can stand in front of and talk for a while.
Thank you.
Sort of an unofficial addition.
Are we communicating out more broadly that Mr. Hornberger will be speaking after the convention?
That was my goal for this week, just as the final push to get people to register. I'm also making it public on some just different meetup websites. But if we need to get out an email, I think we can just do it from, you don't necessarily need to try and hijack.org again, but we can let everybody know. And Sky suggested everybody should just sort of try and word of mouth, let people know too, just because, I don't know, he's an interesting guy. I think we can pull in some, just because he's like written so many books about like JFK or stuff. I'm posting it on like some conspiracy minded websites and whatnot, just to see if anybody wants to come check it out.
Just an FYI, we don't have to, we can send from our .net to every member.
Yeah,
Well,
that's why I'm saying we just send it out from .net.
yep.
I think we should make an announcement to our membership about it. It's good visuals to have him be at the convention.
Yeah, I think so
And
too.
Macy's likes him.
Yes.
Optics, I meant.
Yeah. And I think because no other presidential candidates so far have really responded or been available. So I don't think we needed to like really, he really only wanted to come. I think if he could be like, he has like a lot of like 30-minute speeches that he does. And I think that's what he wanted to do. And since we really don't have anybody else to give time to, if that was going to get him here, I just said he could do it at the end of business. And that's pretty much what it's going to be. And maybe he can do a Q&A, or, you know, I'm sure he'll want to hawk some books or something. And we'll probably, you know, have a more formal presidential forum or debate or straw poll, or, you know, something closer to the 2024 election that, you know.
I have a question, Mike.
Yep.
He's going to speak at the end of our business day. Does anybody know if he's attending the Wixom convention?
I don't know that he knows about it.
Oh, well, let nobody here tell him, okay?
Yeah. That's one of the things, is I was like a little worried that like maybe somebody from the other faction would try to dissuade him from coming if, you know, we put it out there too soon. But now I think his plans are set. He did it like, it wasn't partly because of my fault. I thought he was still considering it, but he wanted to move along with it. There was a little miscommunication between the two of us. So it wasn't finalized until a few days ago. But now I think he's on his way. Because he's running for president, he hasn't asked us for any money, which was the other reason for asking him instead of a different kind of a speaker. And since we're not having any kind of a banquet or a dinner, it's just sort of like, all right, stick around in this room and we'll have a speech, and then we can all go off and go home or get dinner. Or it looks like the restaurant at the hotel might still be closed from COVID, but I'm going to call them up and see if that's still, it just has not been updated on the website or not, because they do have a restaurant and bar in the hotel.
Okay, thanks,
We all
Mike.
want to hang out and have dinner after. Greg?
Drinks.
I move that we approve the agenda and rules as presented and authorize Bill Jelena or whomever to include them in the meeting packet.
Okay. Is
Request for information. Hold on.
that Andrew?
Yeah, so do you have the one that has 30 minutes for open floor, or do you have the one that has number 14 still on there? Because I thought Greg, Mike, and Bill and I decided that we were gonna strike that and just have 30 minutes for open floor. So,
I have 30 minutes of open floor on the one in the packet.
okay, I'm okay with that then.
Yeah, it's the most recent edit you came up with.
Good deal.
Yep.
Thanks. I just couldn't see it on the screen, so wanted to make sure we were talking about the right one.
Okay. And Greg did make a motion.
And I second.
Oh, and you seconded. Very good. All right. All those in favor of sending this over to be included in our packet, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. And
Request for information.
go ahead.
So just in general, does anyone have any reports at this point? Like treasurer or chair's report or anything?
I was talking to Bill right before the meeting. He said he hadn't received a treasurer's report. And that's the only one he singled out having not received. I can tell you for a fact he hasn't received a chair's report because I haven't written it yet, but
Did you get a membership report?
he didn't indicate that he was missing one. Larry just unmuted, so.
Yeah, my guess would be no, because we haven't really appointed a separate membership committee other than Mr. Patel. So that's kind of still up in the air and being handled sort of ad hoc at this point.
Mhm.
Hmm. Do we need to formally appoint somebody, or is that report, is that kind of like a fill in the blank with the updated numbers type of thing that we could piece together?
So I don't know that we need to appoint anybody. We're going into convention. Let the next board do it, but Larry and I can get current numbers. But again, it would be, what numbers do you need to see?
I guess from a convention committee point of view, I was looking for anything to add to the packet at this point. I think that could be something given day of, but just looking to see if there's any other reports that need to be added to the packet.
Scotty?
Yeah, I had noticed on the agenda that we approved that there is a time for resolutions. I did also email one resolution. Did that end up being part of the packet so that it's already there and available to the secretary when we get to resolutions?
Scotty, did you send it to Bill?
No, I sent it to this LEC, I believe. If there's anyone who did not get something called a unity resolution, then I'd be
Oh, yeah.
interested in no.
I got that, yeah.
Yeah, we
Should I
got it.
also forward it to Bill?
I would, and explicitly ask that it be included in as a resolution at convention.
Okay.
I would suggest that if we're gonna allow individual members to pre-submit resolutions, that we put that out to the entire membership.
If that's a motion, I would second that.
Was that a motion?
Sure.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded then. Anybody have any issues with just putting that out to the general membership?
I kind of do, because we need a timeline to be able to print all that to have it in the packet.
That's true.
I wish to amend the motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I would suggest amending it to be to put out a message, if possible, tonight, and then alert people that they have until midnight Tuesday. And then if they happen to get there a little bit late, we could, in other words, Wednesday morning, have somebody look at it and by then have all the paperwork done. Because that's also Tuesday night is when we're also having a final bylaws discussion. So I think it'd be appropriate to make that just a deadline that on Wednesday, people can use the finalized paperwork with whatever has happened for the convention packet.
Okay. Andrew, does Tuesday midnight deadline sound doable?
It does. That's if you want it included in the packet, we can always print
Yeah.
it, have it on the side. So whichever you decide.
Okay. So I guess, do we have to vote on the amendment then to add that deadline, or can that
Yes.
just be how we do? Okay. Do we need to second the amendment then?
If we need to, I will.
Okay, we'll just say that we did, and
Let's
is
call the
anybody?
question.
All right, all those in favor of putting it out to the membership, well, of adding to the email that we send out to the membership to allow them to submit resolutions, a Tuesday at midnight deadline, say aye.
Aye.
Um,
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Well, I'll say it passes, which I guess brings us to Brian's original motion to include in an email after this meeting an invitation to the membership to submit written resolutions. Any further discussion on that? Greg?
I'd like to speak against this motion. It's just
Go ahead.
it's just an extra cost for the convention committee to print 100 copies of any one member's motion. We have had members in the past that would submit multi-page motions, and then we'd be responsible for printing that. And it's just an unnecessary cost, I think.
Okay, Brian, you got your hand up?
Yeah, I guess my point in bringing this motion is that if we're going to allow a single member to submit a resolution that's going to be printed with the packet, then we need to open that up to all members. Otherwise, we don't allow any members, and I would be fine with either way.
Okay. Scotty?
Yeah, I think people get the resolutions in time. There's no additional cost to including it in a virtual packet. Maybe what we could do is have resolutions that make it by that deadline included in the packet available virtually, which I think most people would be using. And then simply have a note, notation in the printed packet that anyone caring to look at specific resolutions may look at the online packet.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring printed copies of mine anyway.
Then
Okay,
what are we even voting on?
I think it's technically another amendment.
Jesus Christ.
This is Andrew. I guess what I would like to do is Scotty submitted a resolution and I would be perfectly fine with having that added under open floor as an item since it has been presented, but just overall, we're wasting a lot of time on this. So
Yeah.
I get it that we have a resolution and we want it seen, but for what we're trying to do here, I think we, are better off just having it be one of the first things we discuss at convention as a resolution.
Brian, you still have your hand up, or? I think resolutions traditionally are just something we bring up on the floor at convention when we have time to, yeah?
Yeah.
Between resolutions and open floor immediately following, we have 45 minutes on the agenda at convention. So I think we have plenty of time.
Okay. Now I've lost track of where we're at. I think we
We're
have to
still
vote
on the
on.
main motion on whether or not to submit an email to the members asking for written submissions.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on that? Because again, I don't think we technically had an official amendment. Okay, without any further discussion, all those in favor of adding that to an email that goes out, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed?
No,
No,
All right, sounds like that fails. I don't know where that leaves you, Scotty. If you were going to bring printed copies of your resolution anyways, then I guess just plan on doing that, and we'll get to it when we get to it. Pass those out yourself, and we'll take care of it at the convention. All right. That is going to. The next thing on the agenda is the committee to investigate NDA violations. Does that committee currently still exist, or is there anybody from that committee here that would like to talk about that?
It was Mark, King, and Stephanie Dunn, and then we tabled it because we didn't have a third member.
Okay. I don't think, without anybody here to update us on that, I think we can just skip across that then.
Well, I feel like we are kind of obligated to resolve this before the convention and not hand it off to the previous LEC, because we specifically did not include this as an item for the convention because we were going to form our own committee rather than take this to convention.
And the old business here was that we were in the process of populating the committee at the last meeting, and we didn't have enough volunteers, so we were going to call for additional volunteers so we could populate the committee. So my question would be, did we get any additional volunteers?
I have not. Nobody's approached me about it.
All right, I moved
I
to table this
volunteer.
to the next. I moved to table this to the next regular LEC meeting.
Second,
Second.
Opposed.
Scotty?
Table things to a future board.
I think it would be very, our effort at trying to bring this party together, and the whole reason that, and at that first, that January 31st meeting, that we said that we would be able to forego the special convention, was that we would be addressing everything that was relevant to the special convention. The vote of no confidence in the chair was no longer necessary because Andrew Chatterton's was not chair, based upon our understanding. Any filling of vacancies is irrelevant because their terms are all going to end on April 1st. Because we're having a regular convention then. So the final item of business, and this is when Joe was chairing the meeting, was that we take care of that third item that their group added on with another petition to have that investigation. Those being investigated had no objection to the idea. And I feel that, and actually in the messages that we put out, at least one of them mentioned, and I have been mentioning based upon the assumption that we have a committee here to investigate, or that we were going to take care of that, has been that there was no reason to go to the Wixom convention because all of the items that they were going to have at the special convention have been taken care of. Now we're hearing that it won't be taken care of, and I think that really hurts our position that we are honoring the bylaws regarding special conventions if we don't do it.
Okay, Brian, then John, then Dave.
Yeah, so we honored our commitment by agreeing to form this committee. When we made the motion to form the committee, we put a stipulation in there on who could be members. We solicited the members for volunteers to be on the committee. We have not got enough volunteers to populate this committee. This is not an issue of us not addressing the issues that the members want to address. If the members who want to address this want to be on the committee, then they need to put in their damn name to be on the committee, right? Otherwise, how do we populate a committee? And nobody that's in this meeting right now can be on that committee because
I'm not aware of a message
Why are you
going out
interrupting
to
me?
the membership asking for people to be on the committee.
All right, I'm not going to talk over other people. I'll finish what I was saying. We fulfilled our obligation. to those petitions by saying we would form the committee. And then all we have to do is populate it. We do not have the volunteers to populate it, which is why it's appropriate to table it to the next meeting and again, request volunteers. That's it.
All right. Just to go in the order of hands that were up, the next is John, but really quick. Does anybody, so the petition says specifically it must be 3 people, and that's why we're not able to just make it a 2-person committee? Is that what's going on?
We passed a resolution saying it had to be 3 people. I don't know. I don't have the language of the petition handy to. for reference.
Okay. Because it does sound like we could just make it 2 people.
Well,
John?
yeah, I was
Oh.
actually ready to address that. If I remember right, last meeting, a Trevor Stepp apparently had volunteered. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
think-
that's right.
So we could populate him with that to make it 3. And then that way we could continue, have our people.
Yeah, I think now that my memory, I think, is that we just assume since Trevor has been going to the other meetings that he wouldn't want to acknowledge this one, but he did volunteer.
Yeah,
I mean, we could form the committee with those 3 people, and if just Trevor never shows up to any of the investigations, then, you know, the judicial committee was a pretty much 2-man job for a while with 3 members. I think this investigation committee could probably handle it.
right.
Point of information.
Mhm.
So I don't have the resolution in front of me, but I believe there was language in there that said that they could not be involved with either side. So since
Oh,
he
yeah.
recognizes that side, right or wrong, he is ineligible.
It wasn't side, it was board. But he is on the board, Andrew's board with air quotes. So I guess that would disqualify him.
Especially if you sign the petition.
I don't know if he did or not.
I don't either.
Just a point of information, I don't think we put out a general call. I don't recall having an email go out requesting volunteers for this. Has there been? I know we've done it in the meetings here.
There may not have been.
It was initially, I don't know if there was a follow-up one.
I don't recall ever seeing anything other than in Discord chat.
So I think we have a motion on the floor, but I would like to see an email go out asking for an additional volunteer this week, whether it's fully constituted before convention.
Second.
So point of information.
Mhm.
I guess this is where I'm at. I agree with kind of where Brian's at, that we haven't let anyone down, that we've done what we said we've wanted to do. We don't have a committee that's populated at this point to fulfill that, but it's not like we've ignored it either. So I kind of see 2 options here. Either we go with what Brian said and table this until we have a committee, or, and I'm not speaking for anyone, but there might be someone here in the meeting who might join that committee to make us have our 3 people.
Maybe someone who has their hand up.
Larry?
I would volunteer to fill out that committee if you need a 3rd person to make it work. My concern is, since basically none of us have access to the Civi CRM, I don't know if we have the resources to actually fulfill the mission of that committee until we reacquire that access, which could be a long ways away.
Well, I suppose that could be. the
We could argue
conclusion.
the philosophical points of whether sending an email to the members is a violation or not, but that's about all we could do.
I think that's pretty much what it's for. Jamie? Do you still have your, oh, okay. Dave, did you still need to say anything?
No, it's all pretty much been covered.
Okay. Did we have, was the motion to table already seconded? I think it was, and that's when Scotty brought up his opposition to that. Is there any further discussion?
Can I amend that or to have Larry put on the board?
I think, wouldn't we procedurally have to vote against tabling it, and then somebody would make a motion to put Larry on the board, and then Larry would be on the board?
So could
The
I,
committee.
whatever it is procedurally that I need to do, I'll do.
I think that would be the way we do this. So in that case, knowing that Larry has volunteered, all those in favor of tabling this, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and all those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay. Anybody like to make a motion?
I motion to place seat Larry on the investigatory committee for the NDA.
Second.
Okay. And it's been seconded by Dave. Any discussion? All
Does
those
Larry
in favor?
accept?
Oh, Larry, do you accept?
Yes, I accept.
All
And
right.
I will protect your neck.
All right. All those in favor of placing Larry on the committee, forming a 3-person committee with the other 2 volunteers that were previously named, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we have fulfilled our duty to our membership who are concerned with NDA violations, and we have formed a committee.
Point of information,
Go ahead.
should there be a chair of the committee?
I would allow the committee to choose their own chair.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And that brings us to an update from the Legal Counsel Committee on the bank account and MichiganLP.org. We did touch on the bank account pretty much. I think that's all been covered. The MichiganLP.org. So let me pull something up really quick from DomainIt. DomainIt has decided that they cannot change the ownership of the account, as it were, and they have, one second. Lost it here. Hold on really quick. There's a third-party organization that we basically have to appeal to that will make the decision. The way I understood it was that both sides would have to agree, though, so it doesn't really behoove the other side to even participate. I'm sorry, let me. Okay, let me read this to you really quick. Dear Mike, thank you for contacting DomainIt. Our apologies for the delay in replying while we investigate your claim, re MichiganLP.org. There is an official policy in place by ICANN.org known as UDRP, Uniform Dispute Resolution Policy, to handle ownership issues regarding domain names. Please see the following link for ICANN's UDRP, to which ICANN registrations must adhere. And then it gives us a link. I'll try and send it, but there is a process that we have to go through. Nick, our attorney, took a look at it and he wasn't sure that we really could say anything was violated because, you know, they did have passwords and, you know, they were users at the time. Raphael, you just asked if I clicked the link you gave me. No, I didn't get that link. Okay. So for me, I don't know, this email is kind of like staring into the matrix, and Nick wasn't super enthused on it. But I can forward it along to anybody who thinks they can sort of navigate all these rules and submissions and whatnot that are necessary. Scotty, you have your hand up.
Yeah, so my question is, are they then saying that if a corporation gives an employee, let's say an IT specialist, administrative access to their accounts, that they can't fire him and deny him access if he refuses to give up the keys voluntarily?
I think that's kind of what they're saying. Or that
Let's hack GM.
Yeah. So the problem is like we were really never hacked so much as we were foolish enough to give access to the wrong people. But I can send this to everybody, and I guess Raphael's sending me something else.
I sent you a link. You could basically force a transfer into your possession if the domain registrar isn't in compliance. That's the start of the wizard that will walk you through a complaint with ICANN, you know, the overall top level administrator of domains that sits above registrars like Domain.it. So then you start a forced transfer with them. They sort of review it, and if it gets approved, they'll tell Domain.it to put it into your possession. It's a bit of a process, but it could take, you know, a couple of weeks or something. That's kind of what Domain.it is saying is, oh, we can't really make that decision. We've got our rules from this larger organization, and whoever has access has access. I think if nobody had access, maybe they could make a determination, but it's really complicated. So you have to check that out later.
Okay.
I move that we do that.
Okay. Is that you volunteering to begin the paperwork, Scotty?
Who is the person who just spoke on this?
I could forward it to Scotty. It's Raphael. Mike had asked me to look at this way, I don't know, a week ago or something. And then I responded, he must have just missed my email. And I said,
sorry.
And I said, here's ICANN's forced transfer of a domain that's in dispute with your registrar when the registrar won't do what you request. That ICANN can review your request of the registrar from Domain.it. And if they decide with you, they'll tell Domain.it to do it, and Domain.it will do it, because then the liability for the transfer is on ICANN. And I think that's what Domain.it is doing, is basically just doing nothing because they don't want the liability of moving it and getting in between a dispute.
So just
I will work with Raphael on that if he needs my help. I don't know if he does.
Well,
Raphael, do you have time?
I don't know anything about the domain. I mean, you know, who knows about the domain? Maybe the IT director person. Mark is his name?
Yeah.
Maybe we should put that in his lap.
I think since I've been doing a lot on the website, I think myself, Mark and Raphael should work together on this, make it a
committee, that'd be fine.
yeah, a committee.
Okay. Should I take that as a motion to form a committee?
Yes, I move to form a committee with myself, Raphael, and Mark, assuming he accepts, to proceed with the ICANN forced domain reacquisition.
In
I'll
that case, oh, Raphael, is that you seconding?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any discussion needed? I'll just put in a note that I think after this, we should make a motion to get Mark paid through some other account that we do have access to. But that being said, is there any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of creating a committee to follow through on the ICANN dispute process, say aye.
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 All right, any opposed? All right, and I just want to make a suggestion that your slogan for this committee be "Yes, I can." All right. That takes care of really everything that was on the agenda.
You wanted to pay Mark King.
Are you making a motion to do so?
I'm reminding you to make a motion to do so.
Oh, I don't want to be the chair making motions, but
I'll make
Uh,
that motion.
we have a treasurer on now as well, or acting
Yes, I see
treasurer,
that.
so yay.
Oh, shit, Angie here now? Oh, there she is. I'll add her to the minutes.
okay.
I move that we pay Mark King from alternative funds for his services regarding website administration.
I'll second.
Okay, since Angela just came on, Angela, in your opinion, what would be the best source to get what would now, coming up on April, be $400 to pay Mark King from, like, you know, whatever money we have access to? Can you, like, which bank account or PayPal account or?
Just a point of information, Mr. Chair, it would be 3 months. The new LEC may carry, keep him on, I don't know, but it would be 3 months as of up till the
Oh, so
31st.
yeah, I guess we wouldn't have to pay him for April since the convention is April 1st. So yeah, we would just have to pay him for January, February, March. I had already written him a check from the general account before the general account got frozen. I guess we just need to pick what money it comes from.
We don't have I mean, I don't know what money it comes from. There's really not. There's only. It depends on how much we spend on the convention, I guess, is what it is. I mean, because we basically have 2 funds. We have the legal fund. And that, well, I don't even keep money in there. That's just basically an in and out account. Money comes in and I send it to the lawyer. And then we have the other fund where we have been, you know, gathering convention expenses and membership renewals, all those things. But yeah, I mean, that's where I would pay him out of. That's not a problem.
Yeah, I guess we would just have to decide if we consider this a convention expense because having him is vital to the convention, or we consider this a legal defense expense because paying him is vital to.
Yeah, because he filed suit because he hasn't been paid.
Yeah.
So it could be that, but I mean, I don't know, I would prefer just to pay it out of the general funds because the legal defense, in my opinion, people donated to that specifically to protect the affiliate or the, the organization from the hostile takeover, not to pay Mark. I mean, Mark is he's a friend of mine. He's very valuable in the IT position, but I don't think that money was donated in that spirit. So I would say we could pay him out of the general funds.
But not meaning the general funds that are at Comerica, but
No, yeah, no, I would love to pay him out of that, but.
yeah, I would love to
don't
too.
think I
But
can
so
do
the
it.
general funds is we just what do we have right now that we're calling the general funds?
Well, we have convention money that came in, but I mean, part of that was for membership renewals. A couple of people donated just randomly to the party in general.
Okay. All right, so whatever that is, I think that should be where it comes from. We had a motion moved and seconded to pay him. I think we've established that's where the money will come from if approved. Did we have any other further discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor of paying Mark from the funds just described by Angela, say aye.
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 Okay, any opposed?
You can turn yours back on. That muted me.
Okay, I'll say that passes, and we'll figure that out logistically. I'll give you a call tomorrow, Angela. I can just, if we got to PayPal him or we got to drive around, or I can come, I can be a courier. It doesn't matter.
Just tell him to send me an invoice. I've told him that before.
Oh, okay. I'll do that too. All right,
Request for information.
go ahead.
So after we adjourn this meeting, can we go into executive session to discuss that other thing?
Is that a
Yeah,
motion?
I guess we could take that as a motion.
So I move to adjourn.
Okay,
Second,
all right.
Did we still have open floor?
We do, but there has been a motion to adjourn and it has been seconded. Scotty?
Point of information, would open floor follow the adjournment before the executive session, or do we need to vote down adjournment to have another open floor?
I suppose we would technically want to vote down adjournment to have another open floor.
Then I'm objecting.
Okay. In that case, all those in favor of adjournment?
aye.
Okay, all those opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna say that failed, which in that case, we can move to open floor. All right, does anybody have anything for open floor? Scotty?
Yeah, I
you have-
did.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everyone got that unity resolution. I wanted to explain it since we have an open floor discussion about it.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'll read it out loud, but if nobody got it, email me at scottyeducation at yahoo.com and I'll forward it to you again. But here, my point in doing this is just to logically defend this, is that it's going to be, we're going to have this convention, and there is a strong possibility that the other group is going to go ahead and schedule another convention sometime between, April 1st and July 31st. And if that happens, I don't want people just to say, well, theirs doesn't count, and then we're going to continue on with the same division. what I want to happen, what I think should happen, is that everybody who can attempt to attend that convention and vote as a block, not for what they necessarily voted for on April 1st, but what won on April 1st, because in other words, that we are ratifying the effects of that convention. And if we end up with the same leadership at two different conventions, and we have the same bylaws at two different conventions, then we are one party again. That is my rationale. We really, because of the tactics of the other group, even if we slightly outnumber them, we got to make sure that we largely outnumber them and that we vote in unity to preserve the results of this convention. So I'll read what I wrote, and people can email me if they wish to amend it, and then I'll bring that up when it's up for discussion at the convention. Libertarian Party of Michigan Unity Resolution. Whereas there are two competing groups claiming to be the legitimate Libertarian Executive Committee, LEC, of the Libertarian Party of Michigan, aka Libertarian Party of Michigan Executive Committee, Inc. Whereas the greatest threats to liberty are outside the party, and whereas the historical practice of Michigan Secretary of State is to deny ballot access to minor parties that submit competing slates of candidates, and whereas the other group claiming to be the LEC is likely to schedule another regular convention before April 31st, July 31st, and whereas the convention held in Lansing, Michigan on April 1st, 2023 AD is the legitimate LPM regular convention, and whereas two conventions electing the same officers, passing the same bylaw amendments and platform amendments will result in a single Libertarian Party of Michigan. Now, therefore, be it resolved that any person nominated to the LEC and any delegate attending today earnestly attempt to participate fully in the other event labeled the LPM regular convention. In so doing, they are urged to vote for the exact same officers, bylaws amendments, and platform amendments as they're passed at the April 1st regular convention in Lansing.
Okay. And then so pretty much that would just be a resolution and acknowledgement of everybody at the convention to do just that. All right, anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. How do we go into executive session? Do we just adjourn first and then?
Yes.
All right. All those in favor of adjournment?
Pick all us nobodies out. Bye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, any opposed? All right,